Sinn Féin has criticised the continued failure of the government to care for women who have suffered under the cervical check scandal. I'm joined on the line now by Mayo Senator Rose Conway-Walsh. Rose Conway-Walsh, good evening to you.
Good evening, Aidan.
And welcome to the programme. You were speaking on this in the Shannon earlier in the day, and you made the comment in the context of yet another woman being forced to go to the High Court to get approval for a drug to keep her alive.
It is, yeah. I mean, this is in the context of what happened. So it was for this woman, and we don't have her name. She was forced to go to the High Court this week. She had gone through the cervical check system and hadn't been detected, and now she has cancer, and she needs this drug to treat her cancer. Now she's one of the small cohort of patients that's suitable for treating with this drug, but she's had to go to the High Court to try and get the HSE to do something. I mean, what her solicitor was saying, you know, the response of the HSE has been a refusal by silence to discharge its statutory functions and duties. And why I think it's so awful is so much was promised to these women, you know, and you'd really have to question in terms of the dishonouring of the women who have lost their lives because of this cervical debacle and scandal, and yet we're still bringing women through the courts.
Yes, now we don't know the name of this lady, and even if we did, it wouldn't be broadcast on air. We don't know the detail of her action, but you know there are issues here which might need to be addressed from the point of view of the HSE, in that there may be reasons, well-established reasons, why it's not prepared to give this woman this drug.
But refusal by silence, you know, and there cannot be reasons other than they are slow in making up their mind. Now, maybe it's because of price, which is usually the case in this sense. Now, I don't know the exact cost of this drug, but surely we owe it to this woman and to women like her that if there is a drug available that will treat their cancer, it should be made available to them because of the wrong that was done to them, particularly in the first instance, around the cancer not being detected, because you know this is a completely man-made scandal. You know, when we go back to how the checking of the cervical smears was sent to America in spite of all of the clinical evidence, and somebody, even one of the clinicians, resigning over it at the time and saying, in 10 years' time, this is what's going to happen. You know, cancers aren't going to be detected. And yet, and that was actually, like, there has to be collective cabinet responsibility. I know it was Mary Harney's government, was the Fianna Fáil and PDs that made the decision, but there has to be collective responsibility for it. And it seems like that nobody's been held accountable. And then you've all the promises, as are often made, and, you know, all the emotional response, and this isn't going to happen, and we're going to make pathways for these women, and we're going to look after them and care for them even at this stage. And we find a woman who desperately needs this drug, who has advanced cancer, has to go to the High Court. The High Court isn't the place for this. You know, so, I mean, that's why I was highlighting it yesterday. It has to stop. The government must stop failing these women who are trapped in the cervical scandal.
Cost usually is, as you say, Rose Conway-Walsh, the reason for refusal to agree to this type of medication. And, you know, I've seen figures up to €100,000. It calls into question the behaviour of pharmaceutical companies, but that's another issue. But there may be other issues, like, for example, that it simply isn't going to be of any clinical benefit to a patient.
Yeah, no, this one has proved that it is not, this drug isn't suitable for everybody, but it is suitable for a small cohort of patients, and this woman is one of those patients. And when we talk about costs, we have to look at the costs that the government and the HSE are spending in the courts because of mistakes made in the courts fighting these women. You know, we all know what it costs, and you certainly know it, what it costs to be in the High Court for a day. what it costs, for the legal profession to be involved in all that. Surely what we should be doing is spending that money in supplying the drugs and caring for citizens, rather than spending it in the courts. Crazy situation. I mean, it really makes me ashamed, and it really makes me question what kind of a republic we live in when we treat women who have been treated so bad in the first place, and women have lost their lives because of decisions that have been made. And now we are here again in the courts. It is wrong. It is wrong on any level you look at it, it's wrong.